Oh, a story, eh? Well, let's see. I know, how about this? Little Hutter. There she is in her harvest costume. This is her story. It's 15 chapters. I'll give you 3 tonight and 3 more tomorrow until we're done. Chapter 1, A Hutter Home. The eldest Hutter maiden busily cleansed her oat comb. The middle youngling tended to the bean patch. The youngest of the 3 wandered dreamily by herself, whishing swish through the tall, grassy grain. Little Hutter, shouldn't you be helping middle sister? Called the eldest. I told her to wander, sister, said the middle youngling. She was sprouting far too dreamy for bean patch work. 3 Hutter maidens, sisters all, there they were on a sunny summer's day, out in the oat fields and out in the patches surrounding the white and red spirals of the conical cottage which was, fair and true, their lives-long home. Absent were their parents, gone on a trading trek to Fiddly-bowed Castle with a load of latch cakes and some palm-pear pies. The sisters were left on their own to cope and muddle as best they could. They coped and muddled fitfully well. The eldest, a full 15 of bar years, was dutiful, trustworthy, and efficient. She knew her thimbles. The middle, 12 bar years grown, was methodically competent and hard-working. Her stitches ran straight. The littlest, the youngest of the 3, standing 8 bar years tall, was a drifty dreamer who often stood and gazed far into the distant sky above the Orrin Mountains. Her threads were tangled and sometimes lost. She thought things. She wondered where her brother was. What brother? Her banished brother. Banished? Yes. Sent away for speaking his name out loud. Why? Hutters must never speak their names, or, truth to tell, reveal them in any other manner you or I or even the wittiest of water wizards could think of. Was not done. The brother of the 3 Hutter maidens had done it. Banished 7 long years in the past to beyond the farthest fringes of the outer orchards was Hutter brother. The littlest Hutter maiden remembered nothing, not the least sliver of nint about him. She knew him only by tail and teardrop on Mother Hutter's cheek. Little Hutter, come, it is time for nibble snack, called the eldest sister, helping middle sister spread out the checkered cloth. Little Hutter heard her sister's call, but paid it no heed. She sat surrounded on all sides by walls of grassy green. In thought, she tapped her pale blue cheek with a pale blue finger. Her big brown eyes were raised to the sky. Her straight black hair, parted in the middle, hung lank to the shoulders of her tunic. Tunic and tanner breeches, there she sat, thinking, plotting, planning. She had a secret. Little Hutter, the molly water is poured. Quell your thirst, shouted the middle sister. Little Hutter, where are you? Shouted the eldest, stamping her booted foot. Chapter 2. A secret. Little Hutter dragged herself dreamily to where her impatient sisters waited. I call her Little Hutter, of course, because I do not know her name, never did. She stood with a vacant look in her eyes and a hint of a smile on her lips. She paid no attention to the offered cup. What offered cup? The one grasped in the outreaching hand of the eldest Hutter maiden. Little Hutter, here, molly water, take it, said the eldest Hutter maiden, shoving the cup against her dreamy sister's belly. Oof, Little Hutter. Then she took the cup and drank it empty. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Such a thirst for no work, grumped the eldest. Oh, eldest, she did do a few rows. See there, those. She did do those, offered the middle Hutter maiden, in defense of Little Hutter. Time for paste. Let's have paste. I wonder what was brother's name, sighed Little Hutter, gazing off into the distance. Simple enough words to ride on a breeze of sweet breath, quietly spoken. What effect? Thunder crack, lightning bolt. Orrin Mountain might have exploded, raining flames down upon them. Rumble bump, grind and growl, the earth might have opened to toss and swallow them all, conical cottage and oat fields too. The two Hutter maidens, eldest and middle, were flangled and floored to just such extremes, but not quite. Their cheeks flushed dark blue, shame, mortification. Middle sister clapped her hands over her ears and shut her eyes. The eldest took a quick step forward and clamped a hand over little Hutter's mouth. "What are you saying? What are you saying?" said the eldest Hutter maiden. "What are you thinking? Don't think, don't talk. Now look what a bungle you've made of Middle." Fair and true, the distressed Middle Hutter maiden was a bungle. She lay on her side, balled up and quivering. Little Hutter managed to mumble, "I'm sorry," through eldest sister's squeezing fingers. "What's that? You're sorry? You should be. The idea of such a nosing to speak with very words. Shame, the shame," the eldest Hutter maiden gabbled. She released Little Hutter to free her arms for waving in dismay. Little Hutter knelt down by middle sister and whispered an apology which traveled through the quivering blue hand covering the shocked blue ear of the distressed Hutter maiden. Middle sister tremblingly relaxed and dared to open her eyes. Little Hutter gave her a reassuring smile and several pats. Middle sister sat up and poured molly water straight from the jug to splash on her face. Her big brown eyes blinking, she scooped a morsel of paste and ate it. I think maybe I might be all right now. Oh, such words to hear among the oats," gasped Middle Hutter maiden, scooping up a second morsel of paste. "Truth to tell, by my well, for you and for me, a name is a name. For a Hutter, a name is shame. Seams and stitches, that is simply their way." The wild exception had been the banished brother of the three Hutter maidens. Banishment explained, fair and true, by his love of speaking, even shouting his name. Was there yet another exception, one standing 8 years high? What was going on in Little Hutter's head as she watched her sister's attempt to regain serenity after the stunning blow of hearing her few quiet words? "I thought I was thinking. I must be more careful. Did I really speak it right out? I must have. Middle and eldest were oats in a windstorm. Be careful. You do not want to leak your secret. Don't let it slip out. The note will work. They'll find it on the round table. They'll even believe it. I'll dawdle at dusk. They'll never suspect. Work hard for the rest of the day. Give them nothing to suspect. Then dawdle. They'll go in. I'll go out to find my brother and learn his name." Chapter 3. "Why does she dawdle so?" mumbled the eldest Hutter maiden, plucking pesky sudge burrs from her tanner breeches. "Did you say something, eldest?" asked the middle youngling sister, likewise absorbed in picking sudge burrs from her clothing. "Little Hutter, why does she dawdle? I said that," the eldest informed the middle, and she squinted to see if she could make out any sign or substance of her littlest sister approaching the cottage from the dimming dusk of the oat fields. "She likes to dawdle. Leave her be. She'll not be long able to resist the aroma drift of oat cakes slathered with clover honey," said middle sister. "There are no oat cakes and honey," snorted the eldest. "Not yet, but soon. I am cooking tonight. Give me plenty of room," announced the middle, and she rushed through the door of the red and white striped conical cottage. The eldest rolled her eyes and followed. The two sisters made for the rung ladder in the center of the great round room. Up they went out of sight with nary a notice of the folded oat and reed parchment page patiently perching on the round oaken table. The parchment page was Little Hutter's note. It waited to be read by a sister. It had no preference. Either would do. Scrape and bump, tread and rattle, sounds came down from the floor above. The folded parchment page was still. Moon's light shone through the low, lone window. 6 plain chairs with woven pads were grouped around the circular table. Strawboard mats were arranged on the floorboards. Candles unlit stood in carven holders. 2 buckle tar torches were dark in their sconces. Fair and true, a typical Hutter room. The moon's light crept down the humble walls. Rumble, tread, laughter, yes, laughter. Sounds came down from the floor above, and later so did the 2 Hutter maidens. They came down balancing trays laden with platters and pot, cups and jug, tines and dipper. Sure-footed and poised they descended rung by rung, having enjoyed years of practice carrying meals on trays up and down ladders. They crossed the room to place the laden trays on the oaken table. Right there then is the very when that they saw the folded parchment page. "What's that?" asked Middle Hutter Maiden, plumes of oatcake and honey scent filling the room. "One of Papa's oat parchment pages, folded," replied the eldest. She rid herself of her traysome burden and picked up what we know was the note. "It's a note in Little Hutter's hand." "What does it say?" asked Middle Sister, spearing an oatcake for her platter with her Hutter tine. "It says, 'Eldest and Middle, do not be creased in the brow. I am going to Fiddlybode Castle. I am 8 years tall and big enough to try it. I am not afraid of ogres or trolls or dragons. I will find Papa and Mama there and return with them. It's high Hutter time I should travel alone to my own adventure. You may use my rake, but not my hoe. Little Hutter." The eldest Hutter Maiden shrugged and dropped the note on the table. She picked up her tine. She poured herself a cup of molly water. She built a stack of oatcakes on her platter and covered it, slathered it with clover honey. The sisters ate and drank in silence for a goodly spell. Then the eldest spoke. "Hutter, you make a fine oatcake, I admit it," she said. "I know," said the middle, nodding. "Too bad Little Hutter missed them." "Just," agreed the eldest. Meanwhile, Little Hutter moved north and west through the night. Fiddlybod Castle lay to the south. That's 3 chapters. Tomorrow more.